everybody. So we are so excited to be here to talk about our latest episode of Obscure Animation. And this one I'm so looking forward to. I'm Rachel and Stanford is here.
Hi, how's it going?
And I have really been wanting to find a way to talk about Looney Tunes on the podcast somehow, some way, especially with you. And I couldn't think of a way to do it because obviously they're not obscure and they don't fit into Talking Disney. So I'm like, what do we do? I don't know. But I found out, yeah, I found out that they would release, because I am not a big fan of Space Jam and I'm not a big fan of Looney Tunes Back in Action. I know a lot of people love that one, but I personally was not a fan.
I don't care for either of those films.
Yeah. And so I was like, I don't know what can I do? How can we talk about it? And I found out that they had all of these feature films that they would release. They were basically package films. And so I thought, why don't we talk about one of them? Because I had never heard of them. So that makes them pretty obscure, I would say.
Yes.
And and this is the actually the full name is Friz Frelong's Looney Bugs Bunny movie.
Yes, exactly.
Longest title ever.
Yep.
The Looney Bugs Bunny movie, or just the Bugs Bunny movie. We're going to talk about that today for Obscure Animations, and I'm really excited. So, was this your first time seeing this particular film?
You know, I think so. I might have seen it as a kid because it seemed to me that some of these Warner Brothers, some of these Looney Tunes package films were shown on TV,
Okay.
And so
yeah,
I possibly could have, Rachel, but I'm just not 100% sure. I have seen some of the cartoons, that they included in it, but as far as I'm concerned, I would say really this was my first time seeing this one too. So
I think it was my first time. I have seen Nighty Night Bugs for sure. And so, that short, and I've maybe seen some of the others. I know I haven't seen any of the gangster shorts. Those were all new to me, and yeah. So I certainly haven't seen this film. I mean, it came out the year I was born, so
yeah.
But yeah, I might have. It's possible I could have seen it growing up, but. Was this something? Was Looney Tunes a big part of your childhood growing up?
Oh, absolutely. I love Looney Tunes, and and they were they were on TV a lot when I was little. There was typically some kind of a programming block on Saturday morning that would have some Looney Tunes, and again, it's almost like they were packaged together, and I can't remember the specifics. But then they'd just be on TV, and.
Yeah.
And I've always loved them. I mean, just because they always would make me laugh.
Yeah.
And then as an adult, as I learned more about the studio and Mel Blanc and all the different, the different people, all the talented people that worked on them, I just love them even more.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I loved them growing up. I was a big fan of animated shorts as a little kid, and they're so funny, and I get so irritated because I hear all the time amongst people who know better where they will see something and they'll be like, oh, it's like Looney Tunes. And usually what that means is that it's slapstick. And so like any animated film that has slapstick is, oh, it's like Looney Tunes. I'm like, no, it's not. Looney Tunes was smart. It was obviously not every short was a complete winner, but for the most part, they were remarkably smart, and the animation was great. And it was more than just anvils getting knocked on characters' heads.
Right. Amen. Because the slapstick is definitely a component, but not the defining component. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm with you. That's, I think, one of the things that's so funny, because some of that slapstick humor is probably what I enjoyed as a kid. And then you understand some more of these jokes.
Yeah.
They're so funny.
Right.
So witty, so clever. Yeah.
My favorite are the ones that pay homage to literature are so funny. Like I love Daffy Duck, I think it's Sherlock Duck or something like that.
Yes.
Hilarious. That one is so good. There's all the different ones that it was interesting because on my blog I compared the Yosemite Sam version of Christmas Carol to this new version of Looney Tunes show, which I absolutely abhor. I think it's horrible. And
horrible. The Seinfeld one.
What's
the one that's kind of the one that's kind of like
that one like Seinfeld,
like a sitcom. It's
it
horrible.
has Lola. Ugh. And it was so terrible. And like the Yosemite Sam one was so funny and it was so smart and did such a great job with that adaptation compared to this supposed modern take. I don't know.
I hear you, Rach.
Yeah. We're talking a little about the history of Looney Tunes. So it started, it was inspired by the Silly Symphonies. And I think a lot of people think it's tunes like cartoons, Toons, but it's tunes like in music.
Music, Tunes, yeah.
Yeah. And so because it got started along with Merry Melodies in the 30s as a competition for Silly Symphonies. And it really like hit its stride in the Tex Avery, Chuck Jones, and Mel Blanc era. What do you know about Tex Avery and Chuck Jones?
Well, it's just that they're highly regarded animation directors, and they've got trademark styles, and again, all funny in their own brilliant way. I know that in particular, I'm particularly fond of the Chuck Jones Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote cartoons, partly just because they're so stylized. I mean, Chuck Jones has his own unique way. I mean, his shorts, his Looney Tunes shorts, have their own unique stylizing of the characters. It's subtle, but you can tell it's a Chuck Jones. One of my favorite Chuck Jones is What's Opera Doc. I don't know if you've seen that one, but I just adore that one, and it's just quintessential Chuck Jones. I can't say. I mean, I know that the brilliant stuff about Tex Avery, but I think it's just because I like the Chuck Jones stuff so much. I don't necessarily pay attention. And then it was so fun to see this with that was all Fritz. Now, how do you pronounce his last name too? I say Freelong. Okay,
I'm guessing. I don't know. That could be wrong.
Well, and I say Freeling, which is probably just just Utah me, saying it incorrectly.
I say that like I know, but I don't.
But it was fun to see because his shorts have a kind of a signature style too, which was evident in watching this. What's your take on Tex Avery and Chuck Jones?
Well, I mean, Tex Avery, I think, is the one who basically kind of is mostly responsible for Bugs Bunny, if I'm not.
I believe you're right.
He's the one who did A Wild Hare, and I mean, in that one, and then you have Porky's Duck Hunt, which introduced Daffy Duck. So yeah, I mean, he was incredible, and I mean, Chuck Jones, I do think of the Roadrunner more with Chuck Jones, but they're legends for sure. Amazing. I mean, they're the equivalent of the Warner Brothers 9 Old Men for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and Fritz Freeling, Fritz. Well, let's call him Fritz. How's that? Yeah. Again, if I'm not mistaken, he did some interesting things too. I think he directed some of those original Pink Panther cartoons in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s.
Well, that's interesting because I think it's in the mobster section of this movie, they play the Pink Panther
song,
which was like,
yeah.
Guess they had the rights to that.
Or he just used them, right? Who knows, right?
Yeah. Is it Freelang?
Yeah. And that's right. I'm calling him Fritz, but it's Frizz, right?
Frizz, yeah.
Frizz. Sorry, Miguel is hate Neil. Sorry.
Yeah, so he was one of the 9 old men too. He was very influential in animating Bugs Bunny, Porky Pig, Tweety, Sylvester the Cat, Yosemite Sam, and according to Wikipedia, it was said that he bore a striking resemblance to Yosemite Sam.
Oh, that's so funny. I love that because I love Yosemite Sam.
Yeah.
And his Yosemite Sam shorts they showed in this were so great.
Yeah.
Oh, my stars.
I was going to ask, do you have a favorite Looney Tunes character?
No, I'm really partial to Bugs Bunny. I just adore Bugs Bunny. I remember that as a kid. Really, any Bugs Bunny short I wanted to watch. Although honestly, I like them all.
Yeah.
Daffy Duck is hilarious. Porky Pig is so funny. I mean, it goes on. Elmer Fudd.
Yeah.
You know,
I love Daffy. I think Daffy is my favorite. But I do, they're all great. They're all so funny. I mean,
they're so funny.
Yeah, I mean, the only ones that I don't know, like some of them that are a little bit stereotypes aren't my favorite, like Speedy Gonzales, but I don't hate it.
Yeah, Speedy Gonzales, typically, I'm with you. They're not my favorite. Not a huge fan of Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah.
I mean, some of those are kind of funny, but it also mostly just made me uncomfortable. And I'm trying to think, but still, Sylvester and Tweety, I think, are so funny.
Oh,
you know. And
who do you like better, Tom and Jerry, Sylvester and Tweety?
Oh, Sylvester and Tweety.
Yeah.
No question. I have to tell you, I'm not a huge Tom and Jerry fan. I know that's kind of maybe sacrilege to animation fans. I'm not a hater. I tire of it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think Sylvester and Tweety, even though it's kind of the same joke over and over, it's so funny. And I think part of it is just it's the character style as the character design, and then Mel Blanc, his voice performance.
Yeah.
Whereas, with Tom and Jerry also being non-speaking too, right. in the classic ones at least, they're well animated. I don't even necessarily like those scenes, those MGM musicals that have Tom and Jerry like dancing with Gene Kelly. It's Tom, isn't it, or Jerry? I mean, the mouse.
That's funny.
And also, there's one where they swim. I watched it recently. They're swimming with Esther Williams. Tom and Jerry, do this underwater.
There's Anchors Away that is with Gene Kelly, right?
Gene Kelly, yeah. I think, where Jerry's doing this. And that's a great scene. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah, interesting.
How about you?
Yeah. I agree with you about. I think Tweety Bird is just about the cutest thing to ever, and it's just fun because they're so cute, but obviously quite devious,
right?
Too. So,
exactly.
And they were the forerunners of Itchy and Scratchy, so
yes.
I like that.
Very true.
Why do you think that the Looney Tunes have never been able to transition successfully into a feature film? Why? What makes the characters appropriate for shorts?
I have been so baffled with the feature films that have come out with them. My take on it is that they just never seem to really capture the characters in these feature films. And again, I could be wrong, but that's just how I interpret it. Because even, Space Jam is kind of it's a really high concept film, but it doesn't. Yeah, they try to be something so different rather than really capture, I think, the essence of what made these shorts so great. And I think that's been my complaint again, and I appreciate them not wanting to necessarily just make a carbon copy of them, but to try to make something so different, that it's all, even though you see all this Bugs Bunny, but it's not. I mean, it's just it's there. He's acting in this different way or something. What's your take on it?
In fairness, like neither have the main crop of Disney, characters have never really made a great feature film. I
Yeah.
mean, do we have a great Mickey film? We have, we have like something like Mickey and the Beanstalk or something that's like a longer short.
Longer
But I
short.
think there's
Yeah.
just something about those kinds of characters that I don't know, like it just works better for shorts.
Yeah, it works. It works better for shorts, and then trying to do particularly what Warner Brothers has done with making these. I think I'm just calling them kind of high concept films.
Yeah.
Just doesn't.
I
It
also
doesn't
think
work.
unless you're gonna do Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which is lightning in a bottle, it's too tempting to have all of the characters.
Yes.
And I don't know. I just don't think that works. I think if you had, I think that you could have a Bugs Bunny movie, like a true Bugs Bunny movie, and have maybe 2-3 other characters, but it's like they want to jump into the Avengers. All of them.
Every single character is in there, and it's too much,
Yeah.
And then I know this isn't a film, but we alluded to that Looney Tunes. I believe it wasn't called the Looney Tunes show. That or was that most recently within like 2 years ago or whatever, where instead of it being, even though it was animated, it was a sitcom.
Yeah.
And it was horrible.
It was so bad. I wanted to die.
I know. I did too. I think I made it through 2 episodes, and I just thought, what were these people thinking? Because again, maybe trying to do something different with these wonderful trademark characters, but
yeah,
so stupid.
I completely agree with you. I don't know. It just felt really cynical actually to me. And I just hated it. It was not for me. But anyway, so we had this package film. It's, like I said, called the Looney Bugs Bunny movie. And it starts out with it starts out with this narration, and I guess is that Friz Freeling that's narrating?
And I don't ever remember hearing him talk, but I think
in this first part, I think later on, it's other people, but I think in that first one, because he's like, they got an Oscar.
Yeah, that was really interesting, and then they showed some live action, some silent film stuff, which the style of comedy represented that they were saying was kind of inspiration, which I thought was an interesting intro. Very interesting intro to this package film.
Yeah, they're kind of trying to do like the history of animated shorts, sort of.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that part works way better than the other narrator and other thing they do later on.
Yes, I agree. I enjoyed that part, and I didn't, as we'll discuss, I didn't enjoy those other interstitials added into this film. But
yeah, I agree with you. So the very first, this is the Oscar winning. They won 2 Oscars. The Looney Tunes. They had. Let's see, I wrote it down. 2 Oscars one for Nighty Night Bugs and 1 for Sentimental, and that's Scent, SCENT, Mental Reasons. I'm guessing that's a Pepe Le Pew.
That's a Pepe Le Pew. Yeah.
Those are the 2 Oscars, which seems crazy to me. Looney Tunes has only won 2 Oscars for animated shorts.
And Friz won 4 in total. I thought that's what they said. Do you know what those were?
Let's see here. Is the most honored of the Warner directors. 5 Academy Awards.
Oh, 5, okay.
And 3 Emmy Awards. Won 4 Oscars during his time at Warner Brothers for Tweety Pie, Speedy Gonzales, Birds Anonymous, and Nighty Night Bugs. So I'm not sure. Maybe I was wrong when I read about the 2 Oscars. Because how could he win 4 if they'd only won 2?
If they've only won 2, right?
Maybe that was wrong, what I'd read. Let's see here.
And then his 5th Oscar was with another.
Says, I guess maybe, you can only trust Wikipedia so far, but it says several Looney Tunes films are considered among the greatest animated cartoons of all time, and 2, Nighty Night Bugs and For Sentimental Reasons, have won Academy Awards. So who knows?
That Frizz, at least according to what he said in this film and what you read, he won 4. He's won 4.
Yeah,
and one for 90 Night Bugs, which they showed at the first as like a short, which I thought was kind of fun because they included one of the things that I loved as a kid and I still love as an adult is the introduction to a Looney Tunes cartoon. That wonderful, that fun instrument, and now I meant to look that up, Rachel. Whatever they do, because it's almost like this funky wind instrument or something. I've seen it.
Introduced Porky Pig.
Yeah,
with the red. I mean, so iconic.
It is. It's so iconic, and it just immediately puts you in kind of in a happy mood. Knowing that you're going to have a few minutes of some significant laughter.
And Porky Pig was the first big star for Looney Tunes. Yeah. He was the first big star in 1935 is when he got introduced. And then Daffy Duck came around in 1937 in Porky's Duck Hunt. And Bugs Bunny in 1938 in Porky's Hare Hunt. Tweety, 1942, Sylvester, 1945, and Yosemite Sam, 1945. So it was a very, very productive time.
Yeah. And that 90 Night Bugs, I mean, what did you think? What did you think of it?
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. It was probably maybe the highlight of the...
Yeah, I'm with you, because again, it had that distinct beginning and ending to it, which I thought helped. And it's just so funny.
Yeah.
I mean, every single one of those gags works in the jokes. Bugs Bunny is the court jester sent out to kill the Black Knight, who's Yosemite Sam dressed up as this, Black Knight. It's set in medieval times, right? And the Black Knight has that dragon, that fire-breathing dragon.
Yeah.
Oh, the whole thing is it's comedy gold.
Really, and like I think what makes Bugs so great is that he's smarter than everybody else.
Yeah.
And he kind of knows it, and it's like there's a little cockiness to him. And I don't know, but for some reason you just love him, and he's so funny. And I'm trying to think of what could be sort of a modern day equivalent to Bugs Bunny, but he's just, I don't even know. Because
I don't know either. He's sure one of a kind, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, you could say like he has sort of the confidence of somebody like,
yes,
I don't know, like a Buzz Lightyear or something, but like he's not as innocent as Buzz. I don't know. There's just really, I can't think of anybody.
Delusional, kind of the way Buzz is. Yeah, Bugs Bunny has just got this pure confidence about him that is just it always works as far as just the comedic potential of it, and how they draw him, and then what his actions are, and then of course all of his little snide remarks that he does.
Yeah, and he manages to make everyone so frustrating, whether it's what's the hunter's name? I forget.
Elmer Fudd.
Elmer Fudd, yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it's Elmer Fudd or Daffy, he's just so. Yosemite Sam certainly too. Really good. So, yeah, that one is very strong, and the animation is beautiful. I think that's something that maybe gets lost because we have a thing that's really strange in our culture. I feel like that if something makes us laugh, we immediately kind of devalue it, I think. Right. Yeah. And we assume it is easier, that it's not as hard as something that makes us cry, when it's actually completely the reverse. It's way harder to make
Comedy
somebody
is so
laugh
hard. Yeah.
than it is to make somebody cry. Is way easier. I mean, you can
Yeah.
put on a commercial about someone calling long distance, so they're thinking that people are crying, you know.
Yeah.
And try to make people laugh is so hard. And and I think I almost feel like Bugs sometimes has like a little bit of a Charlie Chaplin kind of vibe to him.
Yeah, definitely.
But speaking, Charlie didn't speak.
Yeah,
something, some sort of a swagger.
Yes, he's got this swagger, this unwavering swagger.
But the animation in these shorts is phenomenal.
It's really phenomenal, and that's, I think, one of the challenges that I have with this package format that they did, because it's so clear when you're watching the animated short versus this interstitial that's trying to create some kind of plot around all these, because the animation is so substandard.
Yeah.
You know, when you compare. I remember that as a kid too. And again, not that I really knew what was going on, but I just wondered to myself, how come this one looks different and this other one looks so much better?
No, really. Well, we'll talk about the interview. He looks like the interview sections. There's like this whole red carpet section. It looks like a what was it? In the 80s they had that dog who was like a detective.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
The name all of a sudden, McGruff or something like that. It looks like a McGruff cartoon.
Yeah. They're like this kind of this random and not really high quality animation just thrown in this.
Like a really Saturday afternoon. And so you've got this like really beautiful Oscar winning, like with shadows and the speed of the movement. And
beautiful backgrounds,
amazing vocal work, all that stuff in these shorts. And and then you have these interstitials that are not up to par at all. This one at the very beginning where they're just kind of going over history is fine.
Yeah,
I think
it is fine. I agree. As we said, that's the best. That's the best one, and then it's all downhill. Yeah.
So the next one is called Satan's Waitin'.
Yeah, they split it up into 3 acts, which I thought was a really interesting kind of construct. Or these three separate sections. So Satan's Waitin', there's that first one.
And I guess this was actually originally titled Devil's Feud Cake, but
which is funnier.
And I guess like they moved things around and cut it apart a little bit and things like that, so it's not exactly the same as the original Devil's Feud Cake, but that was just what I read. And basically this is pretty hilarious. I love it. It's so I mean, it's Yosemite Sam, and he finds out that the Granny character is a widow and she has all this money, and so he's going to get her to he's going to woo her and get this money, and Bugs finds out about this, so he starts to, and there's some really hilarious scenes in here.
With Bugs dressing up as Granny and doing stuff to Yosemite Sam. I mean, this silly stuff, even just like, how many lumps do you want in his tea? And of course he pulls out the giant hammer.
And I loved when she says, "Nothing like this happened to me since the boys got back from Gettysburg."
It's so funny.
And she literally has a bin of money to burn for the fire. Somebody's like, and hilarious. And Bugs starts, and 20 years of nothing, and it all turns up in one day. And so funny. I love the scene with the duel.
Oh, I did too.
Hilarious. Just bagging. He's like 5/16, 6/16, 7/16, 8/16, and he keeps backing up, backing up, backing up, backing up, backing up, and then he gets hit by a bread truck or a bus or something. It was so funny. This one was actually my favorite now that I think about it.
I was gonna say it's kind of a tie between this one and again, kind of a bummer that they put the best ones up front.
Yeah.
You know? But still, those two were stellar.
Yeah. And I love so Yosemite ends up going to hell and meeting Satan. And he says, "It's powerful hot here. Is this Dallas?" Satan says, "No, but you're close." That's so funny. And
Mel Blanc, you know, I mean his delivery. Oh, as all the characters, but I don't know. There's something about Yosemite Sam that just always gets me. It's so funny.
Yeah. So he ends up sending. He says, "I'll send you back on one condition. You got to bring somebody with you to replace you." And so then his plan is to get Bugs, and he ends up in Rome. And there's this whole scene with the lion's den, and
it's ancient Rome, right? And
and then he ends up in the Old West. Like the amount of like backgrounds and creativity and incredible. That's why I say when people are just like something like the Boss Baby is, it's like Looney Tunes. Ridiculous.
No. Here
they have like 5 settings in one, like what, 10-minute short maybe.
Yeah.
Because you've got hell, you've got Granny's house, you got the Old West, you got Rome,
yeah,
amazing, the desert,
and those are all silly fun. You know, I really enjoyed watching some of those again. And again, my only complaint, and I know we've already talked about this, is just when they get the Satan stuff is the interstitial. And it is, you know, again, it is played for laughs, and it's pretty funny. It's the funniest one of the 3, as far as the interstitial stuff goes. At least I think it was the wittiness of the script. But so the animation is so shoddy.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, if you compare it to the animation in, I don't know, it depends on which package film you're talking about, because some of them have like. For Disney, some of them have live action in between it. I think is it Melody Time? That's the one with Donald opening the presents. I think that's the one. But you know, the weirdest one of the Disney package films is the Edgar Bergen Fun and Fancy Free.
Fun and Fancy Free.
So,
that's
grown man at a little kid's birthday party.
Talked about a
with puppets.
Right, yeah, that was really weird. No.
It does not hold up. And it is tough, I think, to find something that will string all of these shorts together that works. But yeah, this was not successful. No. It would have been better if they'd just done the history thing the whole time. For sure.
I think so too. Put in little bits about the history of the making of them.
Yeah. Just kind of treated it like a lighter version of Fantasia,
right? Then just showed the shorts rather than cutting off the beginnings or endings of them, and whatever they did. Still, though, just because the shorts were so high quality, I still really enjoyed that.
So we get the next parts are called the Unmentionables, and these are all different kind of crime ones.
Yeah, and some of those crime characters, right? Those gangster characters.
Yeah, which I'm less familiar with, those gangster characters.
Yeah, I remember the guy, the really kind of the boss.
That's Rocky.
Right, yeah, with the big hat, the short guy with the big hat. But a lot of those, again, maybe I'd seen them, Rachel, but it's sure been a while since I've seen some of those, and they're pretty funny, I think, too, overall. Maybe again not as good as those Yosemite Sam ones, but
I mean, they were still enjoyable, but they're definitely my least favorite.
I have to tell you, it wasn't that memorable to me either.
No,
it was. kind of the jokes weren't really landing as well. I didn't think
Yeah.
in that one, and it's not as
I did like
funny.
the
Daffy's.
sequence. Yeah, I did like the sequence where Tweety Bird was in the can, and then they put the the bomb in the can,
Yes.
and then Sylvester is like hailed as this hero for saving Tweety Bird, and he's almost gonna have to kiss Tweety Bird, which is kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
That was probably the best part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a pretty strong set for this is a pretty strong movie for because it's Bugs Bunny movie for Tweety Bird and Sylvester.
Right. Because it's interesting. Yeah. Because even though the way they titled it,
Yeah.
there's not. I mean, Bugs Bunny is not in every one of these shorts.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is interesting. Yeah. So the last third is where it really is the Oswald. And that's when you get the interviews.
Yeah,
and
the Oswald Awards, which they invented to be like their own kind of Looney Tunes Academy Awards, right? Isn't that
yeah.
what? And that whole scene where they're doing like
it's pretty
the
brutal.
Carpet, yeah, it's really horrible animation, and they were using some different voices, so they weren't all blank and they weren't good.
No, it felt very 80s.
Yeah, McGruff.
Saturday morning. McGruff. And like I said, they do have these good shorts where you have the Three Little Pigs doing the jazz, the Three Little Bops. That was fun.
Clever.
And then,
fun.
The Birds Anonymous. That was really fun. Where so basically, like Sylvester goes to Birds Anonymous and where he's gonna have to stop eating birds, and then he watches this turkey making thing like thing from Thanksgiving where they're slicing the turkey and talking about how moist it is and delicious and everything, and so he's like, oh
yeah,
he wants it so bad, and
it's so great.
That was really, really, really funny. And I think
one of the things I thought was weird about that Oswald Awards section too was that it was taking place in a theater, and then they'd often cut back and they had animated actually an audience and a proscenium and a screen, and then they'd shrink the cartoon and it was playing on that screen in that theater.
Yeah.
And they'd stay on it for a while. I'm like, we get it, like
right.
Just show show a full screen, show the cartoon full screen. That just seemed like a really weird artistic choice to me. What did you think of that?
Yeah, I agree with you. It was really weird, and it was just kind of boring. It was long.
Yeah,
maybe want to fast forward.
Mm-hmm.
That part.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Birds Anonymous was really funny. It definitely, I have to wonder if Andrew Stanton knew that, seen it, was inspired by it at all.
Oh, right. Seriously.
Sharks Anonymous.
Yeah.
Because that was very similar. And the high diving hair, that was really funny. So you have, Bugs winning this reward. Daffy, you are despicable. I can do anything as good as you. And I really thought there's a moment where they're dancing to Tea for Two, where Bugs and Daffy.
Yes,
that was great. Loved that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's part of called Showbiz Bugs.
Mm-hmm.
So there were Three Little Pigs, Jazz, the Three Little Bops, Birds Anonymous, High Driving Hair, and then Showbiz Bugs. Those are those in that section. And that's the three parts. And then we get that's all, folks. And that first it's Bugs Bunny, and then of course you get Porky Pig. Yeah, telling Bugs the smile line.
Yeah.
That
was kind of fun.
And I don't know, it was just really enjoyable. In total, they had in this film, they had 99 bugs, hair trimmed, Satan's waiting, Roman Legion Hair, Devil's Feud Cake, Sahara Hair, Wild Woolly Hair, The Unmentionables, Golden Yeggs, Catty Cornered, Three Little Bops, Birds Anonymous, High Driving Hair, and Showbiz Bugs.
Yep.
So that's pretty amazing. The most of those were in Act 3, so yeah. I think this was just really fun, and I just love the Looney Tunes. And we can't forget not only Mel Blanc, who voiced Bugs Bunny, Yosemite Sam, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, Pepe Le Pew, Speedy Gonzales, Sylvester, Tweety, Rocky, the list goes on. Unbelievable. But also you had June Foray in this.
I know. I was so happy when her name showed up in the credits.
Yeah.
Because she's, really the mother of animation voiceovers.
Yeah. Her and Vera Felton are definitely were the queens for sure.
And she's just the best. And
yeah,
so it's so funny. In fact, I was wondering how many voices were hers. I mean, some of them are pretty. You can tell. Some of the other ones, I wasn't sure, but I was thinking, well, she'll still be her.
Well,
she's so versatile.
On this, on the list, they only list Granny.
She's Granny, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't be surprised if she has little bits and pieces. But that's like her main part was Granny.
Yeah.
And she kills it as Granny. Granny,
she owns it. Granny.
That whole sequence is hilarious.
Yeah, and Granny's well animated, but it's because of June Foray's voice performance. I think that how Granny really shines.
I do think probably my favorite line of the whole thing was nothing like this happened to me since the boys got back from Gettysburg. And then I also do love, it's powerful hot here. Is this Dallas? No, but you're close.
and
the devil also says, when you're hot, you're hot.
And I was still laughing about Bugs Bunny clubbing the Black Knight, He hits him so hard with that club, like it's a golf swing. That Yosemite Sam flies out of the. Anyway, I mean, it's so silly, but it's so fun.
The voice of Satan was actually Frank Nelson, is his name, voice actor.
Saw him in the credits too. Yeah.
So interesting. He was a pretty prolific guy. It's interesting, but that's just great. If you haven't seen a lot of Looney Tunes, definitely do yourself a favor. I was able to find, I don't know if I could find it quick enough, but I actually have the gold collection.
Oh yeah, that gold collection. Yeah.
And I got it on Amazon.
Is that Blu-ray or DVD?
It's
Rachel?
DVD. It's just DVD.
Yeah.
But it may be on Blu-ray. I've had mine I've had mine for I don't know. I've had mine for at least 5 years.
Yeah.
So, but
that's a treasure.
I got it, and I got it on Black Friday, and so I was able to get a great deal on it. But even if you can't get a great deal, it's definitely well worth it, because especially if you have kids, they should be seeing the Looney Tunes.
They should.
They will love it.
They will. I think they'll just have a blast.
Because I think that Looney Tunes I think that Looney Tunes is better than the Disney shorts. I really do. I mean, there's some that are better maybe from Disney, but I think Daffy, I'd pick Daffy over Donald. I do.
I think that, I really appreciate what you're saying, because they're so different.
Yeah, that's fair.
The Looney Tunes ones, I prefer them as a kid too. I mean, they're just so much more fun to watch.
Yeah.
Just so more full of laughs. And again, not so much necessarily this. I mean, of course, the slapstick humor is funny, but they're just funny.
They really are.
The Disney ones, I always thought they were more charming.
Well, they're more experimental. You're absolutely right about that.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right about that. But they're both great, and you just definitely introduce your kids to both of
Should
them.
watch both of them. Yeah, for
But
sure.
the Looney Tunes totally hold up. They're still funny. They're still charming. They're still smart. Like I said, they have place on all these different books and characters from history and things like that you can get to.
And opera.
Yeah, opera. And more. So this is really fun for me. Like I said, I've been wanting to talk about Looney Tunes in some way or fashion, so I'm really glad that we got to do it.
Oh, absolutely.
And, yeah. So, I mean, I would still probably, I don't know, I'd give it a B just because of the interstitial parts.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. On my Letterboxd, I gave it 4 out of 5 with the caveat that the shorts are great, the interstitials aren't.
Yeah, and you can easily just fast forward those. So.
Absolutely, because again, you can really tell. It's really not hard.
So cool. Well, thanks again. And where can people find you?
Oh, well, thank you, Rachel. I am on Twitter at Stanford Clark, and I also have a movie blog, which is moviespastandpresent.com.
Great. And I'll have that in the description section. So check that out. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews on iTunes and on YouTube. So let us know who your favorite Looney Tunes characters are and which shorts you remember. And if you've seen this particular movie, this particular collections, let us know. We'd love to hear in the comments section or on Twitter. That would be great. And thanks again. And next month, we are going to be talking about Bill Plimpton's film Cheatin'. So talk about totally different kind of thing. It's going to be really fun.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that too.
So, and we have Oliver and Company also is on our Talking Disney coming up next month. So lots of fun stuff. So
yeah, definitely. So thanks so much, Rachel.
Thank you. And we will talk to you all later. Bye. Bye.